They are cockroaches. And I will take whatever punishment anybody has to give me for that. I want to protect my neighborhood from these people. I want them out. And I'm going to do everything I can to get rid of that element that's making life miserable for the good people in TCHC.
Well, I'm in the Jane Finch corridor with local councillor Giorgio Mammoliti. Now, Councillor Mammoliti has been in the news lately, and I'll tell you why, folks. He was recently on the Ezra Levant show when I was guest hosting, and something called Press Progress, which is actually an arm of the Broadbent Institute, they picked up on the interview, and here's what they had to say. They tweeted this: Toronto councillor Giorgio Mammoliti, one of Doug Ford's closest allies, went on Rebel Media this weekend and shared his solution for Jane and Finch. Spray them down like cockroaches, end quote. And then the hate fest began about Councillor Mammoliti. Now, folks, this is known in the business as a drive-by smear job, because before I get into this with Councillor Mammoliti, I'm going to show you the clip, and you're going to see in Giorgio's own words verbatim what he said. So we'll just run that right now.
1% of their population are a big problem to not only the residents in TCHC, but the much larger communities. What I say by that is they're harboring, literally, all of these killers. They're harboring the drug dealers. They know they are, and they can't do anything about it because the courts won't let them evict. They call it the last place for these people to go. So if they evict, there's nowhere else for these people to go. I see it like spraying down a building full of cockroaches. The cockroaches are just going to scatter, right? Yeah. So start evicting them.
Yes.
Let them scatter, because their particular strength is when they're all together in a community like Jane and Finch. Yeah. So my approach is going to be scatter them, evict them, get them out of Jane and Finch completely. And I also have a further one, David. I think we need to knock the buildings down completely and build into a mix. It's not fair to those residents to be segregated. They have been for the last 60 years. It's no wonder our little kids in those communities are growing up angry and killing people. We need them to mingle with the rest of society.
So, Giorgio, there you were answering a question. You made the cockroach statement. Obviously, you were not talking about the people in your riding, the people of Jane Finch, as being cockroaches. You were talking about the thugs, the criminal element, the gangbangers that is making life very difficult for law-abiding citizens here, weren't you?
You recall me saying that, in fact, it amounts to 1% of the TCHC tenants who are the gangbangers and the drug dealers and those that are stealing units from seniors and using them as drug dens. That's rampant on TCHC, and anybody can ask TCHC, they'll tell them that that's the case, and that I'm wanting a mechanism to evict those people so that the good people in TCHC are protected. They've taken it way out of context. They've asked me whether or not, in fact, that 1% I would consider to be cockroaches, and they're very close. They're human beings, but at the end of the day, a gangbanger wants to kill people, wants to harbor children at 9 years old for drug smuggling, and wants to bring them into that lifestyle, is not any further than a cockroach as far as I'm concerned.
Well, Giorgio, why do we have people on the left right now standing up for the bad guys, the thugs? I mean, Mayor John Tory last month got in trouble for similar words when he called a couple of gangbangers that shot at two little girls in a playground sewer rats, and some people, the usual suspects, lost it over that too. Why is there this outpouring of hugging and love for the very worst elements?
I'll tell you why. Some of the more marvelous people in TCHC have had no choice but to accept money from drug dealers and those that are gangbangers. They pay them off to stay silent. They pay them off to be the good people so nobody can find out information. These are good people that are caught up in a system. We need to get rid of the system that we have, and that's why I'm suggesting we terminate, we eliminate, and we tear down the segregation that has created this nightmare even for the good people. Tear it down and rebuild so it's a mixture of everybody living together. Get rid of that element.
And what do you make of some of the commentaries about this tweet, Giorgio? I mean, there were people saying, well, Giorgio Mammoliti should be the one sprayed with bug spray. There was comparisons to Hitler, to, God forbid, Donald Trump. I mean, even an accusation or even a question in which someone wondered, can we charge this man with a hate crime, all for calling gangbangers and thugs cockroaches?
They are cockroaches, and I will take whatever punishment anybody has to give me for that. These gangbangers, for me, need to go, and I have a plan to do it. No other candidate does. And the people that you're hearing from come from the other camps, the camps that would rather us hug the thugs, the ones that want us to keep giving them money to survive and to thrive. I'm calling them out. And I dare them to come and debate with me. And let's do that on your show. Let's debate this issue on your show. Let's see who has the courage to come out and debate this issue on the show.
And Giorgio, it's funny too, it's perversely ironic that you stand for something that I would think the left would stand for, which is this idea of mixed development when it comes to subsidized housing. So in other words, getting away from, ghettoizing, if I can use that term, low-income people all in one area. And you were one of the proponents of what's been generally considered a great success, the Regent Park redevelopment. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. In fact, I'm the one who wrote the report on affordable housing in the city. So I believe that everybody should have a home and a roof over their head. And I believe that so much that I wrote a report that says that. Look it up. I was the chair of the committee and I wrote the report. It was adopted by council. That particular report led to us moving forward with a partnership program with TCHC. TCHC became a developer, and they became a developer, and they tore down much of Regent Park as we knew it. They worked in a deal with the private industry, private developers. Those developers came to the table with money, and it's been a success story. We're doing it at Lawrence Heights. We're doing it right here at Fir Grove, in Jane and Finch, believe it or not. And so this has been blocked off. It's going to be torn down and built as a mix. The ratepayers love it. The people that live here love it because they're getting new homes. We're going to be mixing them in with the rest of society, and we're not segregating the poor. And I don't know what anybody's complaining about, but it seems to me this. It seems to me the people that are complaining the most want the poor to stay poor so that they get themselves elected and reelected.
One last question. Do you think that the real target of Press Progress, which, like I said, is an arm of the Broadbent Institute, it's actually Doug Ford? Because right up in the lead, they said, here is one of Doug Ford's closest allies. Are you a way in which they're trying to get at Doug Ford?
I don't know. Doug seems to be doing what I've talked to him about. There's a lot of advice gone my way through him. Look, he's put a hold on safe injection sites. He's moving forward with cutting council in half. All the things that him and I talked about when he was at City Hall. He's a friend. We talk, and what's wrong with that? If it were the left and they had a premier that may have been NDP and they were talking, what would they call themselves? Perhaps they should call themselves hypocrites.
Well, there you have it, folks. I think Giorgio Mammoliti has stated his case. What Press Progress did, as I said earlier, was a drive-by smear. Councillor Mammoliti is correct. When you, as is Mayor John Tory, when you have gangbangers taking shots at children, when you have people, senior citizens, being shaken down for money, these people are sewer rats. They are cockroaches. And if you have a problem with that, I have another animal metaphor for you. I really don't give a rodent's rectum what you think. For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Benzoid Menzies.